Do you guys honor the seasons of life?
I try to. Yes, I try to.
And
Sometimes
what
I don't always get there, but yes, I do try to do that. Yeah.
and if someone wanted to know what we're talking about, what how would you describe the seasons of life?
The seasons of life for me represent literally nature. It represents the seasons that the earth goes through, where we have a springtime, where we are planting, we're creating, we are generating new energy, growth is taking place. And then we have our summer season where we are taking care of all the stuff that we have planted and what we have done in the springtime. And then in the fall, we get to harvest that. We get to reap the benefits of all the hard work that we've done. And then we need to go into a period of rest. We need to go into a period of regeneration for ourselves where we are quiet. We don't, there's less expectations of ourselves, where we can literally create that rest that's needed in order to go back into the spring season. And I don't necessarily mean that it literally follows the same seasons that we experience in the outside world, but I honestly believe that we go through those same periods.
Mm.
And within that there are seasons of life, like we are going through a certain season ourselves based on our age, based on what it is that we are accomplishing in our life right now. And then there is my daughter and, your kids, which also are in a different season of their life because of their age
Mm.
and what they're prioritizing in their life, what it is that they're doing as well. So I think there is an overarching sensation or feeling of being in a specific season, youth, middle age, old age. And then within that there are the seasons that we go through where we are very creative, where we are like the three of us, we're building all our own businesses, and we are being creative, having to be creative, having to figure things out, having to do all of that stuff. And then we get into that mode of just saying, okay, this is working, so I'm just going to take care of this right now. I'm happy with what's happening here. And then you start to see the benefits of it, right? You start to see either your own personal transformation or the clients that you're working with, or whatever it starts to happen. But then you have to have that rest period. And I think today we are so busy and so productive and so all of those buzzwords, hustle, that we forget that really critical part, to rest and to take care of yourself, um, and to be quiet.
You know, when we decided to do this episode, the two of you knew I was struggling with this because I never really thought about life in a format of seasons. I thought of seasons, the four seasons that we have within the year. And as you're talking about that, like as a woman, we have our seasons because you have up to puberty,
Yeah.
and then you have your times where you're reproductive, and then we go into menopause, which we've had episodes on all of that. That's seasons of life, and we talk about in the previous episode we were talking about manifestation and how the three of us manifest things differently because in different seasons of our life. You think about it. Tracy, you were talking about something when you were 5 that you had said. That was a season of your life. Who knew this person was going to still be in that season as you go through? So I think it's like I'm having this aha moment, to be very honest with you, talking about season of life. Like if you were to ask me what season of life I was in, I would be like, I'm not sure. But I'm in like a couple different seasons of life right now. As a woman, I'm in would you call it a rest or something, because I'm in a menopause. So my body is no longer in that reproductive mode. um, in a creative season of life because I'm building a business. I'm in a growth season of life because I'm training for a race. So I think it's like the season of life is intertwined
Oh,
with
yeah.
the seasons of the year.
Mm.
And when you talk about the hustle, before the pandemic, my stepdad was ill, and I had to make the trek from Wisconsin to Florida once a month for 18 months for a 2-week time period. So that was a constant go. So you're constantly going, like that's constant. That's a constant go. I was one of the caregivers for him. Now, in Connecticut, I had my father, who I would then periodically go out to see because I'm his only child. He had family there, but it was just, I was his immediate family. And a season of life happened where I lost both of them. One from cancer, one suddenly. And then I never realized, like, I just kept going, like, I kept moving
Mm.
until the pandemic hit, and then everything shut down. And that forced me to go into that season of life of grief.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
because the hustle and bustle, and I have to go and I have to keep going, and you have to do this and you have to do that, I didn't allow at that time the season of grief to come into my life.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
I really believe that I'm going to say my kids' generation. Now, actually, I believe our generation growing up was very much that you had to be as productive as you possibly could be, and that you actually wore a badge of honor. If you could say you worked 60 hours a week, 70 hours a week, it was like, wow, you're really doing it. You're really getting stuff done. But you cannot do that on a continual regular basis and stay in that one season, because your body literally will shut down on you. It's just going to go, we're done. This is not going to happen anymore. And it will take that form in whatever form it needs to take in order to make you slow down and take the rest and do what it is that you need to do to take care of yourself. And I really think that we need to really be more proactive with our kids. Certainly I need to do this, to let them have that time of rest, to let them know that that is a good thing. It's not lazy. It's not, it's not a bad thing to do, that it is really important for the regeneration of self and all of that domino effect that will happen as a result of that. Because if you're not looking after you, you can't look after anybody else. Everything starts to close in on you, and everything starts, instead of being outward service focused, everything starts to turn inwards.
Yep.
Because you're doing everything you possibly can just to survive. You're never gonna see fall. You're never gonna reap the harvest of that.
Yeah, that's super interesting. It's weird because I never actually realized it was the seasons of life, but when you reflect back, which I don't know, is that winter? Like you're look back at stuff, and like there were certain times, like there was a lot of death in my family, so that was like I always took it as the dark cloud, but that was this season of my life where it was just like really crappy stuff going on. But then there was this other season with, lots of rebirth and creativity and new things happening and opportunities. And it's interesting when you kind of categorize it as seasons of life, because I think it helps you it helps you just with life, right? You're going, okay, you know what? This is a period of time, but we all know we're going to get through it one way or the other, whether it's good or bad, right? And I find it really interesting. I like the seasons of life. I like that way of describing it.
Well, I think it's really important, because if you can look at it that the seasons will change.
Yeah.
After winter, there is spring.
Yeah.
After
No, sir,
summer, there
really?
is fall.
Not if you look out my window.
Mine either,
No,
Michelle, but
sir.
not mine either. But honestly, like there is, and that can bring a lot of hope if you can look at that. If you're going through a bad time,
Yeah.
if things really suck, to go, you know what? This is a period.
Yeah.
This is a period. You know, night turns into day. The light, it goes dark, and then we're in light again. Like, it will change. It will change.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. So what, when you enter a season of life, do you even realize you're in that season unless you sit and think about it? Like, I was telling you about my revelation that, oh, I was in like 2 different seasons, 3. Like, do you think about seasons of life?
I do when I have expectations of myself that are unrealistic. If I think I should be doing more, if I should be like trying to hustle more, that's when it usually hits me. It's like, no, you're doing exactly what you should be doing here.
Mm.
This right now, this period that I'm going through right now is winter, and I just need to honor that and respect that it's a time for me to just regenerate and focus and just be where I am right now. Because these seasons are not necessarily like the actual seasons of life, in that they're going to last for 4 or 5 months at a time, right? It's like you can go through these seasons quite rapidly, but it's to understand that that's actually what's happened. Like,
Right.
we have to be, I think, cognizant of when we feel out of alignment, when we feel out of balance, when you're exhausted, when things aren't working out, when you're in a really graspy, needy kind of energy. I think that's when it's really good to sit back and go, okay, what's happening here? Right? Like, why am I in this energy? What season should I really be in?
Right.
And just kind of reflect on that, to go, okay, yeah, this is the time that I'm just supposed to nurture. I'm supposed to just keep doing the same thing I'm doing. I'm not supposed to be doing anything else. Let's see how this works. Let's see how it all pans out. And then I can start to reap the benefits of all of this work that I've done. Right. But we don't, we have been trained so, and especially that, we're in an instant gratification society. We've been trained that you don't go through summer. Forget summer. I don't want to nurture this stuff. I want the results like this.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I ate really good today. 24 hours, I should be down 20 pounds. What's the problem?
Yeah.
Right? It's like, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Technology has not been our friend. Like,
No.
go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, but I think it goes back to what we kind of consistently say on this show, is that you have to check in with yourself. You have to check in and go, oh, what's going on in my life? And then, oh, I identified the season, or checking in, and is this the life I want to lead?
Yes.
It goes back to that.
Yes. And it's funny, Tracy, when you were saying before, like, the summertime, that instant like gratification. Like, I remember getting so excited for summertime, like couldn't wait for the summer. You're out of school, whatever it is, the kids are out of school, you're gonna go plan vacations, you're gonna like the warmth, the sun, this and that. And now it's like, I don't even know how I want to say this. Like, well, oh, I want warmth. So people now just hop on a plane and go find warmth. Not that that's a bad thing, but it's like we don't feel the whole systems, where my son, Amber and Jason, they really feel the seasons because they're farmers. They grow their food. So right now they're busy because they're downstairs in their basement germinating all their plants to get ready, and the soil to get ready once the snow goes to go down. For them to look out and say, oh, it would be nice for warmth. Let me get on a plane. They can't do that because
Right.
that's their focus on that. And I'm going to be one won't be living in the winter. This is my last winter. I'll be in the warmth for the winter. But I think it's just life has just changed so much that we forget about the seasons and we just
Yeah, and
forge ahead.
that analogy of your of Jason and Amber is amazing because that clearly identifies what's happening. Here they are, they're really busy right now.
Yeah.
They're planting, they're germinating, then they're going to plant everything in the earth and they're going to take care of, make sure everything's growing and doing what it is that they need and weeding and all of that kind of stuff. And then they're going to chill out for a bit. They don't have to really do a whole lot. Like
Just a little bit, yeah.
the sun, the rain, and
Yeah.
you know, the earth is going to take care of most of that. They don't really have control over that. It's like, okay, I just got to kind of watch and, you know, do stuff that I need to do, but I'm not really busy here. And then they get to reap that harvest.
Yep. Then the fall, they harvest everything, can do all of that. And then it'll be funny because then I'll say to them, Jason will be around, let's say Thanksgiving. So what are you doing? I have nothing to do, Ma. The garden's all torn apart. Everything's done. Everything's put away. I can rest now
Rest. Yeah.
until spring.
Yeah.
And look back at the year and go, oh, maybe next time I'm going to do this with the garden or whatever, but you can review and rest. And
it's funny when I go over the house, you know, like we'll make chili and I'll be like, I go downstairs and it's, you know, they're canned tomatoes and you come back upstairs and you use the canned tomatoes for the chili and it's the reap of the harvest. So I think it's this episode, I want to thank you ladies for it because I never really thought or paid attention to the seasons of life. The seasons, absolutely. But the seasons pertaining to life, no. Have not. Have you, I'm asking the audience, what is your feeling on the seasons of life? Do you pay attention to them? Do you check in with yourself like we've been mentioning a couple times on it? We would love to hear your comments on it. Or if you have any questions about the season of life, we will definitely do another episode on it. And make sure you hit subscribe or notifications because every Wednesday a new episode comes out. Until then, have a good day.
thanks for watching, and we hope to see you as a regular member of our community.